So first, I'd like to introduce Mr. Volodymir Danyliuk, who you all know, and who's the head of the Forum of Ukrainian Journalists, as well as an honorary journalist in Ukraine. So welcome again, Mr. Danyliuk.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые друзья.
Dear friends, hello. Yes, the war in Artsakh, in Nagorno-Karabakh, of course, it drew attention of the journalists because we have a war in Donbass since 2014, and the Crimea is occupied. What is the specific feature of covering the events in South Caucasus? We should understand that now Ukraine is at war with the Russian Federation and its mercenaries in Donbass. So that's why the public opinion formed in such a way that everything is connected to Russia is perceived as an enemy, as some hostile actions. Just recently, a group of military men in Artsakh, they were observing some territory, and they knocked on a mine, and there was one death, and one Russian military person was injured. All the news in Ukraine started with this, that a Russian officer actually died in the conflict. So there is this specific feature that we need to understand. On the other hand, if we take some mass media that are not really Ukrainian, for instance, this project, The Present Time, it's a joint project of Radio Free Europe and The Voice of America, so they have a little bit different aspect. Just recently, they showed a story, one family of Armenian military men who went missing, how they went to the government buildings, to the prime minister to find out what happened with their family members, and they showed that there is some advisor who came out to them, tried to explain something. People were unhappy, as far as I understand from this report, that the prime minister doesn't do anything to find out about the whereabouts of his military men. So I wasn't convinced by this report that he's doing enough. So I have to say that Ukraine has those special relations with Russia. Russia cannot be an ally for Ukraine. That's why Ukrainian mass media are very skeptical about everything Russia is doing in Nagorno-Karabakh. So actually, I personally doubt that Russian military men can become peacekeepers. I'm thinking that maybe if it was blue helmets of the UN, it would be better. But I understand this unique events in South Caucasus where interests of different states clash. That's why it's happening as it is happening now. Social media are an interesting segment. People are more free there in expressing their opinions. So in social media, this war is covered a bit differently. For instance, look how Azerbaijan is like trying to get their territories back. Why doesn't Ukraine does the same with Donbass and the Crimea? So there are lots of discussions in social media, but we need to understand why it's happening. Once again, Ukraine is at war. The occupational army in the Crimea is Russian army. The army that is shooting at Donbass are Russian army and Russian mercenaries. That is why everything connected with Russian army acting in Artsakh is perceived not positively in the Ukrainian media. Why? You know, this big politics influences the opinion of mass media because they look at the events in a different country through the lens of the events of their own country. So these are the main trends. On the other hand, for instance, in our region, in one time, there were cars driving around one of the cities with Azerbaijani flags. They were driven by Ukrainian citizens who had sympathies with Azerbaijan. And some media criticized them that this was wrong to do. So there are many aspects to the problem. Well, our colleagues were right when they said that what's happening somewhere far away from your home is perceived absolutely different in comparison to something happening near your home. So yeah, this is how it's covered. So there is this specific feature in this conflict for Ukraine, and it's like that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Danyliuk. There's one question from Mr. Ananyan. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Danyliuk. Very interesting point of view that you expressed. I completely understand it. You know what? I monitor Ukrainian media, and during this month of war actions, it was quite an insight for me that Ukrainian society, Ukraine has a very good attitude to Armenia and Armenians. And I visited Ukraine several times, and the attitude to myself I felt was very positive, and this is the real mood of society. But mass media have different perception that no matter what, they need to defend the opinion that international law defined itself. You know, there are two principal issues here. One of them is the right of people to self-identification, and the second is the territorial integrity of the states. And, you know, the sensitive issues that Ukrainian society has and the challenges Ukraine faces, probably mass media was thinking that some kind of unilateral coverage that was happening, a little bit biased coverage that was happening, helps society to kind of replace one concept with another concept. Because you said yourself that all conflicts are different in their essence and their content and in their forms. So did the Ukrainian mass media understand that this is some kind of biased coverage? Because, you know, the LexisNexis company just issued an analysis of war actions in Artsakh, and it was clear that Ukrainian coverage was more pro-Azerbaijanian. It was rather that than neutral or pro-Armenian. So where do you see this fine line which we should not cross? And the second question, sometimes we as relatively small mass media do not have the tools to like, you know, being in Karabakh, being in Ukraine, seeing the conflicts with our own eyes, we're not always able to cover those conflicts. And that also has a certain reflection on the situation. Those mediators who help us cover the situation, they kind of convey their opinion, first of all, through us. Could you like develop on this? It would be very interesting for me to hear your opinion on that. Thank you. I understood your question. Let me answer it like that. When I was in Yerevan, we had many meetings and we said that information bridge between our countries exists, but it's very weak. That's why our project, Media Dialogue for Pluralism and Mutual Understanding, is a good platform to hear what our mass media won't show, mass media in your country or in our country or in Belarus, they won't show it. So we can hear it here from you. Again, let me explain it to you again. Russian Federation attacked Ukraine in 2014. Ukraine left all international treaties. We know that we are not in the CIS or other treaties with Russia. Ukraine aims to enter NATO and other unions like that. Of course, there are different mass media, there are different opinions in Ukraine, but I'm talking about the most popular opinion. We don't have so many sources of information. You know very well that if I'm in Yerevan, I will not see there any Ukrainian TV channels. I will be able to only see some Russian TV channels, right? And if you come to Kiev, you will not see any Armenian channels on our TV. So the only conclusion is that we need to cooperate more in informational sense to receive unbiased information. I hope that Armenia will become pro-European in the future, and through leaders will not have a problem with answering a very simple question. Who the Crimea belongs to. If you say it belongs to Ukraine, Ukrainian will be like happy and praise you. Well, yes, I agree. This is how it should be. Our political leadership, well, first of all, it should be pro-Armenian, because any political leadership of any country should like be based, first of all, on the national interest. That's my opinion. I don't see the choice of the like third power. There is a choice for your own voters, your own people. That's how democracy is built for me. And the Armenian political elite should be pro-Armenian, just as Ukrainian political elite should be pro-Ukrainian, and not make any geopolitical choices, because geopolitical choice of any country. I understand your statement. I agree that we need to build more informational bridges so that our societies are closer. Because let me tell you that Armenian society also has like different attitudes and also very good attitude to Ukraine society. We even have a bridge of Sergei Borodyan, who is like both Armenian and Ukrainian, and who is a symbol of Ukrainian-Armenian dialogue. And we need to strengthen those relations and those links, despite all kinds of things. There could be different platforms, bilateral, multilateral platforms. And it's great that we have this media dialogue as an opportunity for such a dialogue. I don't think that in the modern world we should condition our dialogue with other factors. When we are friends for something, not against something. And my wish to all of us is to be pro-Armenian, pro-Ukrainian, and not to make geopolitical choices that prevail over the interests over our own people. And I hope, you know, this understanding will give us an opportunity to completely step over things that might be different, you know, in some inner aspects of our policies. Thank you, and I hope to see you in Yerevan or in Kiev.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ananyan, for this very nice statement. Mr. Danyliuk, do you want to add anything? There's one more question for you. Max is asking, Mr. Danyliuk, what do you think about the point of association against mutual adversary among, for example, Armenia and Ukraine?
Я не знаю, это хорошая идея, но мне кажется, вот в этом проекте, в котором участвуют и украинские, и представители армянской, вот это фундамент, который, я думаю, хороший для налаживания контактов в информационной сфере в первую очередь.
Thank you very much.